All right, the last main segment that I want to cover today is DSP and loudspeaker optimizations. I think I mentioned earlier, this is something I don't think gets a lot of use. This probably actually would have been a good poll question. How often do you think about optimizing the speakers in the paging system other than turning them on and adjusting the level? In my experience, this is something that gets very little attention, unless it's a space where maybe it's a more corporate environment or an education environment, and the expectations for the sound quality are a little higher, and so a little more effort goes into this part of it. But we want you to be aware that for all the speakers we've been talking about in the catalog, as you go up to the signal chain into the amplifier and signal processor, we have tools to make this go as well as possibly can. In Tesira, Voltera, and the amplified loudspeaker controllers that we offer, we have a library that's being developed called Alamos. And this is basically a library of all the processing for our loudspeakers. So in Tesira, that's available. You can, right now, that's one of the links on your resources to get a file to operate the R.15, for example, inside of Tesira. So you get the FIR filter, high pass filter that optimize the speakers so it'll sound good, but it's also protecting it. The two leading causes of premature loudspeaker failure are too much power or producing bass frequencies that are below its limits. So that's what the OptEQ provides in Tesira. In Voltera, it's going to take it another step, and with the ALCs, take it another step, and it's going to regulate how much power is delivered to the loudspeaker, just built into the processing. That can be done in Tesira if you know how to set up a limiter and calibrate it and so forth, but to make it a pretty much turnkey opportunity or option, then Voltera and ALC blocks exist. And you can see on screen the difference that you get with that applied, the green versus the red. You also notice the phase gets improved in the corrections. Vocia users, we have processing options also for Vocia deployments. So an unprocessed response here again is in green, and there is a set of 4 or 5 parametric filters that we have. It's basically a block of data that can be used in Vocia to optimize the response of speakers. So you get the high pass filter and some parametrics that don't quite do everything that the FIR filters do in Tesira, but they help remove any of the more problematic frequencies that need to be balanced. So there's a comparison overlaying what you would get in a Tesira or Voltera type system versus Vocia, the red and the blue. In Voltera and in the amplified loudspeaker controllers, the ALCs, we have a multi-level limiting system, which is honestly, so far we've had one case in 5 years of a loudspeaker failing and wasn't protected by this system. So when these are set up correctly, it's important that they're set up correctly, of course. It's really bulletproof. It's really hard. I dare you to break one. We've been very successful with this. And that same technology that's been in the ALCs now for, let's see, this April's 5 years, is available in the Voltera now. So the protection against different levels of signal and the bad things that can happen to the transducers caused by them. A couple things on environmental specs to be aware of that I want to highlight so this doesn't get lost, even though the CCA-80 is that light gray color that the R series is well known for, it's not an outdoor product. This is an indoor only model. Yeah, I'd like to have the outdoor one. So hoping we get that at some point. But currently that's an indoor only model. It has no weatherization features at all. It does have a really robust safety restraint. It actually fits an M10 eye bolt. So, you know, it's got a lot of safety built into it, but it is not built for outdoors. And the R.15-3696 is in a category of weather readiness that we call ready, as opposed to really durable or higher level durability water exposure, weather exposure. So it's built with all the same materials it would normally have for an R series model, but in this case, as kind of as a cost controlling method, it's rated IP54, whereas all the other R series models are rated IP55. And the thing that makes that different is just in the construction of the grill. This foam-backed grill allows a little bit of moisture behind it that technically under a higher pressure could be a little bit of a problem because it is a smaller horn and the transducer is a little closer to the opening. We're being a little conservative with this. We don't want this to get overused in those really harsh environments or marine environments and such where maybe one of the other R series models are a better choice. And as a quick refresher on what does an IP rating mean, because this gets thrown around a lot of different ways. The IP54 test, which is actually a defined test for this, it resists dust and splashing water. So not quite your garden hose, something that's less pressure than that. And then the IP55 rating is the same dust protection and then low pressure water jets. There's a specific amount of pressure and such, but think a little bit more like your garden hose in terms of how much water that is. Not your garden hose at point blank distance, but kind of like you're washing your car or watering your plants. So pricing, we saw a couple prices flash by earlier. Where do these fit into the lineup? R.15-3696 sitting just $100 list price USA over the MPL-T62. So you're moving from 2-way to 3-way for a 25% increase in price. That's fantastic. CCA-80 at 60 or at 650 is less than the R.25 that it basically replaces. Remember, it covers more territory than the R.25 or even the R.5 from a single position. So real bargain against some of the higher output, higher performance models to do voice and paging at the levels that we typically need for that. CCA-80D is twice the price, and that connecting bracket is essentially free. It's built in. When you order that SKU, you get both cabinets in their own box, and you get another box with the bracket. I mentioned resources earlier. I think you may have already found that in the handouts panel here in the webinar system. These are included also in the PDF that you'll get later today or tomorrow when we send out a PDF copy of this slide deck. But all of these hyperlinks, we'll double check them. We were having a little trouble earlier with a couple, and we'll get them fixed up before we send this out. This will take you to all the different things that we've talked about. Find them on the catalog, go see some things on YouTube about how to use Warehouse Designer, where to get ease address and evac if that's a program you think will help you. And then the other downloads is the Biamp downloads for Warehouse Designer for the speaker files that you use in the AFMG software and so on. So these are all of the things that will be available to you.
Okay, well, that looks pretty much it. Thank you so much, John, and thanks everyone for joining us today. If you have any questions about what we've got here, the paging systems, please reach out to either John or myself, or visit us at biamp.com or Cornerstone for technical support. Once again, thank you so much for showing up. Have a great day.
Thank you.